Southern states have historically been brutal to African Americans, where blacks endured slavery and then a century of Jim Crow laws. TheRoot.com published its list of the 5 worst states for black people today, and it just may surprise you. Rise News anchor Julian Phillips joins us with more. Hey, Julian.
Yeah, surprising. And what may be surprising to many is that most of the places on the Root's list are not in what is considered to be the bastion of racial regression, the South. What is revealing is that the issue of race and what motivates racism is alive and well in America. America's Dairyland, Wisconsin, incarcerates black people at the highest rate in the country, 13%. It has a punitive voter ID law which disproportionately affects African Americans, and its education of black children is poor. The Buckeye State, Ohio, has reclaimed their prodigal son, LeBron James, as their poster boy for success. But the median black income in Ohio is barely more than $26,000 a year, compared with slightly more than $45,000 for white Ohioans. Michigan makes the list as the 3rd worst state to raise black children, and perhaps its nickname, the Wolverines, takes on a new meaning as Michigan takes the title of being home to the most segregated city in America, that being Motown, Detroit, and also the distinction of having the highest black unemployment rate of the nation at 16.7%. If you're black and into that evil weed, marijuana, you might want to avoid Iowa, the Hawkeye State. Blacks are arrested at a rate 8 times higher than whites for marijuana possession, despite the fact that the rate of drug usage between blacks and whites there is about the same. And last but not least, the good old Magnolia State, that's right, Mississippi, coming in number 2 behind Wisconsin as the 2nd worst state to raise a black child in America. A black unemployment rate of 13.9%, and the worst unemployment benefits in the nation at $194 paltry dollars per week. Well, despite these eye-opening revelations, it's very important to note that blacks in this country overall are much better off now than we have ever been in many ways. We can point to the number of black CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, not to mention the election of President Barack Obama. But we still have a long way to go to achieve parity with our white counterparts.
You know, Julian, I think it's probably a foregone conclusion that economy plays a role in this, which makes it all the more surprising, these 5 states, because you would think of the seemingly poorer southern states being the biggest culprit. So where does economy fall in here?
Well, the numbers are not that far off in terms of some of the other states. Louisiana and Alabama are close by, and Mississippi with a lot of the numbers, including infant mortality. But economy, as you know, with me, always plays into this. The penal system in this country is big business, especially in rural areas. We're talking about hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. And a lot of communities where these prisons are make a lot of money, so therefore it's very profitable to make sure you have enough inmates in there. In addition to that, when it comes to who is incarcerated, why blacks are incarcerated more, some of it has to do with the fact that police find drugs and crimes where they look for it. So you find more of
police. And we call that profiling.
Well, yes, and in many ways it is. So therefore, if you're looking for drugs in certain neighborhoods, like in my neighborhood, I'm sure there are a lot of drugs. I live in an upper middle class neighborhood, but they're not looking for, the police are not looking for drugs. Yeah, that one statistic,
I forget what state it was, but the arrest for marijuana use was 8 times higher than the white counterpart. Right, yeah. Whereas the drug use was about the same.
Right.
Let me push you forward a little bit and talk about the politics of this.
Well, if it's not money, it's politics. Here's the issue, Debbie, and this is what people don't seem to want to understand. There are certain laws that have been put in place, especially drug laws. In some states, they've been changed now. In fact, even in some localities like Brooklyn, New York, where you have Ken Thompson, who's the district attorney there, he's changed the drug law so for simple possession of marijuana for small amounts is no longer a crime. You can't be incarcerated. You have a lot of people that are incarcerated for very minor offenses. I don't care what you believe about marijuana or whatever, but as a minor offense, you're incarcerated. Now, the issue is you get the laws changed by your ability and your willingness to vote. And that's why these midterm elections were so important, and that's why a lot of folks, including our Republican friends and counterparts, were spending millions of dollars to make sure a lot of voter laws were suppressed. People don't understand at this point that they don't vote, then the laws that will oppress them are going to be the same. It goes not only with drugs, it goes with education, the kinds of monies that are going to be going into classrooms, and hopefully there'll be a wake-up call, which hasn't happened
There has to be a wake-up call, and I think it's up to all of us to make sure everybody gets out and votes. We'll have to leave it right there, but what a surprising list there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, indeed. Julian Phillips, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you later.